Hello there, people of the internet. Before we get started, I've been shooting in this one spot for quite a long time. And look what just so happened to come up from the dirt. This right here looks like a 45 shell, obviously steel case, but man, it is crazy just how fast that's deteriorated. I have ammunition soaking in salt water that has deteriorated not nearly as badly as this stuff right here. That is insane. That's historical relic right there. I mean, hell, this might not even be mine for all I know. Maybe this is from whoever was here however many years ago. I doubt that, though. Anyway, hello there, people of the internet. We are once again having a discussion in relation to a discussion I had with somebody else. Starting this gun channel has probably been one of the greatest decisions I've ever made in my entire life, because I have met so many different people that have so many amazing perspectives about this community and just this way of life in general. It's opened my eyes to so many different things. And occasionally, I will open somebody's eyes to, you know, this, that, or the other. Well, let's go ahead and get into this topic of discussion. I was talking to someone not too terribly long ago, and they were talking about buying themselves a #1 Mark III. I guess there's been like a big surplus of Enfield rifles that have come in from wherever the hell, and his buddy got one, decided he didn't want it, and tried selling it to this guy I was talking to. Well, the guy that I was talking to decided not to get it simply because 303 British ammunition is very difficult to come by right now. It can be found right now, but actually this was a discussion I had quite a while ago. At the time it couldn't be found. But he decided not to get it simply because he couldn't find ammo for it. His idea, his way of thinking was that why buy a gun if you're not going to be able to shoot it because there's no ammunition. I definitely 110% understand that. However, I guess it all depends on what it is that you're going to use the gun for. If you just want a gun to go out there and shoot, by all means, get something that you can find ammo for. However, if you're like me and you value the historic significance of whatever rifle it is that you're buying, maybe the ammunition availability is not a big, turn off from you. I don't get why people fight about whether or not coffee or tea is better. That's like comparing apples and oranges. If you like one, then like it. If you like the other, then like the other. Or if you like me and you like them both, then mix them together. But this right here is a rifle that I wish I could shoot more often. This right here is my 6.5 Jap Type 38. Obviously it's been sporterized. I've been told to, unsporterize it because the mum is still intact. But man, I just love the way this barrel looks. Whenever I pull this thing out, all people see is that. And everybody knows that the main aspects of a rifle is how long the barrel is, right? I'm definitely not trying to compensate for anything. Definitely not. But 6.5 Jap ammunition, especially during this time of shortage, you're not finding it. There's no way that you're finding 6.5 Japanese ammo in times of a shortage, because you can barely find it in normal times, and whenever you do find it, it is ridiculously expensive. I knew that whenever I bought this thing. I was very aware of the situation that I was putting myself in. I was going to have a rifle that I would love to shoot way more often than I actually do. Actually, I think I've only stuck like one round through this thing because I just so happen to have one round of 6.5 Jap laying around. Well, I can't find 6.5 Jap ammo to run this rifle again. I've tried getting it, but due to backlogs, it's going to be like half a year before I can actually get some. But that didn't stop me from buying this rifle. Granted, I did get it at a pretty good deal. Even though it is sporterized, I still got it at a pretty good deal. And I value the historical significance of the Arisaka rifles, not necessarily just the Type 38, but in general. I'm not going to go into a history lesson behind the Arisakas, but I should do that. Future video idea. But I value historical significance, not just with Japanese rifles, but basically with every genre of military surplus out there. The the 1891 pattern Mausers that became the 9130 and the 38s and 44s and Type 53s, and that's a whole mess right there. There's so many different variants, and then you got like the Mausers, the 7mm, the 8mm, the widespread adoption of all of that, the Argentine stuff. Like, there's so much historical significance behind so many different kinds of rifles. And in this particular case, I saw the Arisaki, I decided I wanted it. Even though I knew that I wouldn't be able to shoot it as much as I'd like. But hey, that's just one of the things that I accepted. There's plenty of other rifles out there that you can get that you can shoot very, very readily, very easily, very available ammunition. I think I'm having a stroke. What the hell was that sentence? There's rifles out there that you can shoot pretty damn easily, including military surplus. This right here is an Oviedo Mauser. I actually shot this earlier today, but I had so much fun shooting it, I decided to break it out again, and uses the example of rifles that you can still fire in this video. I dropped about 80 bucks on this rifle, which was not a lot of money for what I got. These are ammo specific. Technically, they're for 7.62 set-me ammo, but you can run 7.62 NATO ammo in it. I've done history lessons on these things before. I'm sure that you could find them if you tried. But if you're looking for a gun that you can just go out and shoot and not necessarily pay attention to the historical significance, like this right here wasn't involved in either of the world wars, but it was likely very, very, very involved in the Spanish Civil War. So anyone who knows about that gruesome conflict, my God, there's some history in that. I like these military surplus rifles because they let you feed with stripper clips. I just like top-loading rifles in general. I'm not a fan of the external magazine rifles, just because it just doesn't have the same feel as cramming a stripper clip into a gun. I can't be the only one who feels like that, right? But this right here is one of those guns that I can shoot on a pretty regular basis because 7.62 NATO ammo is used by our armed forces and is constantly surplused. During the times of this ammo shortage, it's been more difficult to find, but it is still out there. However, it's more expensive, so I don't do a lot of shooting with this thing. Typically, if I'm just going out to blast brass, I'll bring like my 9130 or something. But I had so much fun with this thing, and I forgot just what a pleasure this thing is to shoot. It's such a short, handy little carbine. It is just absolutely perfect for whatever application you decide to run it in. And the trigger, basically a two-stage trigger. It's got quite a bit of creep, but there's a very solid wall right there. Once you break through it, man, it hits hard. I imagine that if my eyesight was better, these rifles would be quite accurate to whatever distance it is that you're firing at, despite the fact that I just missed my target. I gotta get this thing out of the way. That's like impeding my vision. My God. Ah, my barrel band came off. I knew something sounded amiss. There we go. This rifle is, I don't know how old, so I give it a pass on that. Actually, I'm just gonna... You're telling me I have to take the front side off to take this barrel band off? Well, that's not happening. There we go. I guess I'll just manually tension this spring. I've only got one round left. Bolt is open. That's why I'm fine up here. But there we go. I'm gonna have to tighten that down at some point. And I missed my last round. That's fine. Man, that is some pretty ammo. I always feel bad about blasting the brass ammo because I'm just so used to running steel and the brass stuff is just so pretty. I don't necessarily like burning through it. Anyway, if you have a specific gun in mind that you want to get, even though you can't get ammunition for it, man, I say go for it. Like, for example, I'd love to get myself one of those old Martini Henrys. Preferably 1 in 303, but if that's not an option, then hey, that's not an option. With those, it's like all a matter of what you can find at the time. Anyway, just because you can't find ammo for it, don't let that discourage you from getting the rifle if you value the historic significance of that particular rifle. Now, if it's something that has no historic significance whatsoever, and it's just, you know, like a modern day gun in some oddball caliber that you've never heard of, maybe reconsider. I'm going to leave that entirely up to you. If the performance of that particular oddball round is exactly what you're looking for, go for it. Anyway, I wanted to give my 2 cents on whether or not you should pick up a gun, even if you can't find ammunition for it. My answer is yes. My answer will always be yes. If you try hard enough, you'll be able to find ammo for it, or at least find someone who can make ammo for it. Of course, even if you can't, like, there's plenty of guns out there that you just can't shoot because there's no ammunition available for it. This 6.5 Jap Type 38 is a good example of that. Anyway, folks, I'm gonna go sit down. I'm still not feeling very well, still kind of dizzy, still kind of winded, but I was bound and determined to get out here to the range. So subscribe to the channel for more, because I do all this kind of stuff all the time. If you like the video, do me a favor and actually like the video. Definitely helps out with the algorithm. Check out the description down below. You're going to find links to all sorts of social medias and Discords and things like that. That being said, thanks for watching. I want to keep shooting my Oviedo Mauser here. It's just such a nice little carbine. I can't get over that I picked this up for $80. They're not expensive guns, and they're great little guns. Just make sure that you're not doing enough to destroy it. Last thing you want is to blow up the receiver on these things. I hear all the time that people, you know, say, hey, it's a Mauser action, so it's strong enough. Most of the time they're thinking of the Mauser 98, and they don't realize this is a Mauser 93 model. And it doesn't quite have the strength that the 98 has. Anyway, I'm rambling. I apologize about that. You guys go off, have a fantastic day. Since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.